Subscribe to my goddamn YouTube or I'll kick you in the nuts!
You know, I was pretty excited when the Finalmouse Ultralight Sunset came out. A change from the norm. A nice, light mouse with a comfortable shape and lots of holes, and Lord knows, I love a great hole. But after getting the Sunset, I was sorely disappointed. The cord was ass, the sensor was ass, the polling rate was stuck at 500 unless you wanted to download some unsupported software that takes a full A level to operate, the scroll wheel was more flimsy than a wet paper napkin. I was so upset about the build quality, at least at first glance. It seemed great. The chassis felt strong and rigid. It didn't creak as I held it. It didn't feel like it was going to shatter into a million pieces if I slammed it down. But the more time I spent on Reddit, the more I saw the scroll wheels breaking off, the side buttons caving in, the sensor standoffs inside the chassis breaking off if you made fun of their mum. But salvation! They learned their lesson and came out with the Ultralight Phantom with a fancy paracord. Oh joy. But sadly, that's all it was. Same mouse, new cord. And the cord was nice and light, but so floppy it would get trapped under the mouse if I picked it up. So I was losing faith. Then, salvation again! The Air 58 Ninja. Same mouse, more holes. Fuck. I'm not gonna pretend like the Air 58 wasn't a good mouse. It was a great mouse as far as wired mice go. I would argue it was the best. But that's like being the best tile licker at the tile licking Olympics. You're still licking tiles. I used the Air 58 for at least 1,000 hours. I played many FPS games with it and did quite well. And I did like the exclusivity of having a limited production thing that not everyone else had. It felt good. But after having my cord get trapped under my mouse for the millionth time, I decided enough was enough, and I started to look more towards the Logitech G Pro with loving eyes. I wasn't proud to be focusing my gaze on another. It felt wrong. But this abusive relationship that I had gone into with Finalmouse and their re-release of the same shit over and over with more holes was wearing thin on me, and I needed to break away from it. The G Pro looked strong and confident. Its smooth, curved surface, a welcome change from running my hand over the surface of the moon every time I decided to play a game. And the best part, no f***ing cord. I've been timid to try anything wireless since I'd grown up knowing that wireless peripherals produce an insurmountable latency that any FPS player can't have if they want to be successful. Most other games can still be played at a competitive level with a little input lag, but the FPS game, you can't take that risk. It was unheard of. I saw a review after review and didn't believe a damn thing they were saying. I started watching streams with players like Vis and Shox using the mouse with absolutely no issue or complaint, but then, panic. What if these players are just saying that this mouse is good because they're sponsored by Logitech? Going out and spending $140, as near as makes no difference, on a mouse that doesn't work would be devastating to a broke bastard like me. So, I waited. I waited patiently. Then one day, an anonymous package appeared in my P.O. box, from what I could only assume was a concerned Twitch viewer. Watching me play games like Apex Legends and Call on Duty, gleefully until my cord would get trapped under my mouse and I would promptly get gangbanged by every player in the lobby that can still move their f***ing mouse really. In the package was this used G Pro Wireless. No explanation, just the mouse in all of its glory. So I gave it a go. And bend me over and take me to Flavor Town. This mouse was the absolute cat's pajamas. I thought it would be heavy compared to the F58, seeing as the G Pro weighs about a hefty 80 grams, but it was almost unnoticeable. I expected it to be much heavier as wireless mouses tend to be because the batteries and whatnot, but they cleverly cut away bits and pieces to make it lighter without compromising the build quality. And speaking of build quality, it's fantastic. The only thing that I would change about this mouse is maybe some grippy bits on the sides. I feel like I'm trying to hold onto an egg while I'm playing, and if I'm not careful, it can slip out my hands at any moment and smash on the floor. All of these things I've feared about wireless mice when I was younger were all purged out of my mind. The weight, the build quality, the fact that I might actually wing it out of my window and give the concussion to my neighbor's cat, none of these things ended up being a problem. The thing is here that Logitech have created a wireless system with such little latency that the human mind can't even determine the difference whether it's wired or not. There's still a latency, but I have yet to feel it in any game. Even when the mouse is about to die, it's still as strong as it was with a 100% battery. The buttons feel nice and strong, well mounted and have satisfying mechanical click to them. The scroll wheel doesn't cave in if you click it down and functions without hitches, binds, or slowness. In the mouse software provided with the mouse, you can change the polling rate as you see fit from 125, 250, 500, and even 1000 with just a click of a button. The DPI button is carefully nestled away underneath the mouse so you don't accidentally hit it in stressful situations. Looking at you, G502. You know what you did. You disgust me. Speaking of the G502, the button layout in the G Pro doesn't feel cluttered or misplaced. They didn't go for the fancy Lamborghini look that Logitech go for on their other mice. This mouse looks and feels like a no bullshit, proper competitive gaming mouse. And as much as I dislike RGB, the lighting on this mouse is discreet and tasteful. It doesn't bother me at all. They probably could have saved some weight without it being in there, but that's neither here nor there. And the mouse has an ambidextrous design with removable buttons on either side, which I found to be a pretty neat feature. So we've come to the agreement then. The Finalmouse Air 58 is like the most delicious spam sandwich you can buy at your local gas station. And the Logitech G Pro Wireless is like a full-on bone-in ribeye of loin-tingling greatness that is sure to bring you untethered happiness for the rest of your life. But hold up. It's not perfect. The mouse feet that came with it are ass. I don't know why these companies aren't just making their mouse feet out of the same material Hyperglide are using. Maybe there's some kind of copyright on their material or whatever, but the factory skates are trash on every mouse that I've gotten recently. And I immediately swap them out with Hyperglides as soon as I can. Like I said previously, the mouse is very smooth, but there's nothing really to grip onto the sides, which kind of affects my confidence while flicking the mouse about quickly like I'm gonna hurl it into another area code by accident. The battery can last me roughly 2 days of continuous Adderall-filled playtime with absolutely no issue. But I'm not about to plug it back into the cord and let it charge while I'm playing, thus reverting me back to my previous conundrum. So I mainly charge it when I get off the PC for a while, and me being a Twitch streamer, mainly, that can be a little daunting. If I decide to do an exceptionally long stream for whatever reason, we're gonna have to take a break and hook the mouse back up to the cord. I feel like the cord is just always looming about, like an overly attached ex-girlfriend that hangs out in your driveway while you're working and keys your car with carefree whimsy while she waits for you to come out and get your mail so she can guilt trip you into a shameful hookup. That being said, it does charge really quickly, much like those shameful hookups with the X. You're in, you're out, you're back on with your life. You don't have to bother with it for a day or two depending on how much you play or how much mail you're expecting to receive on any given day. There's a wireless charging mousepad that you can get for it where you don't have to ever plug it in, but the pad is painfully small. For a player like me, it's hardly an option unless I plan on changing my entire playstyle so I can forget about charging my bloody mouse. All in all, this mouse is to me like a 99 flake is to a good British ice cream. A lovely little extra piece that doesn't have to be tied down to be enjoyed. Nice, light, easy to set up and use, ambidextrous and pretty easy on the eyes. A delightful change of pace without being chained up by a cord, and a mouse bungee that flops over every gunfight. And then there's the Air 58. It's more like that disgruntled ex in the driveway. It was fun for a while. It was good while it lasted. And after all the hours of getting my cord stuck, she's better off outside where other people can look at her in all of her beauty while I get it on with Logitech loudly in the other room. So if you're looking to buy a new mouse and you want to be untethered for the rest of your days, then I would strongly recommend you looking into the Logitech G Pro Wireless. There's also another wireless mouse coming out soon from Razer that looks pretty good, but I've had very little success with Razer products for a long time now, so I decided that the G Pro was probably a better avenue for me to take. I hope this helped you out in your future mouse decisions. Ta-ta for now.